the head coach of the back-to-back EOAC champions, and now sitting at 19-2, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Johnson. What's up, Coach?
That is quite the introduction, man. That is one heck of an intro. You should be my hype guy. If that is great. I appreciate all the kind words that you had to say about me, DJ and Anthony. I really do. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's well deserved. Thank you for everything that you've given back to the game of basketball here in our area. For everything that you continue to do. Not even with the Clippers. I mean, I know you do a lot of stuff outside with AAU and just getting these kids coached up, and you've raised the level of basketball. So let's start there. Since you took over, how is the game of basketball in this area? It's developed. We've seen it from our perspective, but for you as a coach, have you had an easier time, or has it been more challenging to take that next step in developing the game here in this area?
I mean, it's always going to be a challenge, especially when you have a lot of kids that are playing. Like you said, you alluded to AAU and to other things. So you have a lot of kids putting a lot of time and effort into the game of basketball. So it's continuing to grow to be a challenge, but it's an exciting one in the same breath, because I think basketball in our area continues to get better. Basketball has always kind of gotten a little bit of a negative connotation or a negative rap here in Northeast Ohio, because we're a football cradle. But basketball continues to get better, and you can see that by the amount of teams that continue to play better, and then the kids that continue to get better. So it's only continue to go up as kids and coaches both put the time and the effort to continue to grow the game.
As we narrow that question specifically to Columbiana over the years that you've been there with the program, how do you think the program has grown and gotten better and developed since you first took over?
I've always been a big believer in the youth and, building blocks from there. So when we first took over 9 years ago, it was, our youth program at Columbiana was a little bit of a struggle. So that was kind of where I wanted to start to begin with and build from that. And, I'm happy to say, here in year 9 for this year, I think we had close to 60 boys participate in grades 2 through 6. Playing basketball and just getting a basketball in their hands. And that's where you really grow and develop the love of the game. And, a lot of credit goes to the youth coaches and to the parents that help coach, those youth kids develop the love of the game as they continue to grow up, because those are the kids that are ultimately going to be, hopefully playing high school basketball for me someday.
You and I talked about it in a recent interview. After a game, you had obviously a successful year last year, but you lost a lot of seniors. You didn't know you knew what you had coming in, but you didn't know how you were going to get them to the finish line with a trophy in their hand. You do just that. Back-to-back EOAC champions. What was this year like for you, and what was it like for the players in developing them to be champions once again?
Well, like you said, we graduated a few kids, right? So we graduated, we had 8 seniors last year. We had a ton of experience, everything going out. So as a coach, after you celebrate last year's accomplishment, you ultimately, start looking towards the next year. And I knew I was going to have a good group of kids. I knew I was going to have a hardworking group of kids. I mean, they played at junior varsity. That group, I think they won 20 games. So, the mentality and mindset was there. And I knew they were hungry to prove themselves as well as a group. So I knew that I had coming in a good, hard-working group. Ultimately, you don't know what it's going to relate to at the varsity level, and playing that next hour up is always tougher. It is always tougher. But, I have a good group of kids that consistently, and not just in the games that you guys are seeing, but it's when nobody's there watching, at the practices, they're pushing each other. Iron is sharpening iron. They're always working to get better and working to push each other. So you always have a goal, and our goal always is, we have the banners behind the backboard, and it's always put a number up on the wall. We always, as a group, that's the first thing we state, is we always want to be able to put a number up on the wall. And as the season continued to go along, these kids continued to believe in themselves and believe that, they could put a number up on the wall, and ultimately, they were able to do so. And I'm just so happy for them, happy that their hard work paid off, and elated for the program to be able to do so.
It definitely wasn't an easy path to an EOC championship, Coach. You had to end up going on the road to Valley Christian with really the league on the line, and we all know how that game ended. Talk about the path to this EOAC championship and navigating it and how it was to go through it and then finally get that win on the road in the fashion that you guys did it.
I mean, so everybody's going to point to that at Valley Christian, but we had a lot of games to get there to begin with. Going on the road and getting a varsity win is always difficult. So for us to be able to go on the road and essentially, we won every game in the EOAC on the road, which is a credit to these boys, to be able to do that. And then, you talk about, we had tough games, Southern, Wellsville, East Palestine, Lisbon, Latonia. Every team in the EOAC battled us, and then ultimately, with Valley as well, giving us that great game, and for our boys to be able down at halftime, go and make some adjustments, come out in the fourth quarter, to be able to have the fourth quarter we have, and then set up the storybook, the shot, and everything that everybody's going to remember is something as a coach I've never experienced. I don't think I've ever had a game winner, and especially of that. So that was definitely an experience on my end. But again, just so excited for the boys to be able to have that.
These moments obviously are fleeting, right? You think they're going to last forever. You try to encapsulate them however you can through video, through pictures. And you guys have had some great follow this year through MV Sports, obviously, with their pictures and being able to chronicle that. And obviously here on YSN. For you, do you ever kind of take a step back during the season and try to kind of take in moments like you've had this year and in seasons past, and how do you do that?
So it's after every game, I got to decompress. I kind of, and anybody that's been to a game or watched us or whatever, I'm kind of all in. So after games, I like to go home and I like to decompress and just relax. And it's been great. Mahoning Valley Sports, YSN, Malutic as well. They've taken pictures, posts, everything. So the social media and the way it is around this area has been outstanding. And to be able to take back and go back and look and reflect at some of the pictures, some of the video stuff that is shared, it brings a smile to my face. So we had a particular moment there, against Valley, where after Seth hit the shot, he gets put on shoulders, and kids are putting him up and everything, and he's got the biggest smile across his face, and I'm not gonna lie, I've looked at that picture a few times, and it just really brings a smile to my face to see the pride and just the happiness in our boys, after that shot.
When we're talking moments, Coach, do you think back on this season, are there any unsung moments that you think go under the radar that were kind of momentum driving or turning moments of the season for your guys?
I go back to a game at Southern Local. We were, first half we were playing well, and then second half they came out, they adjusted, they got into us, and I think we went down in the fourth quarter. And Luca Caglicio gets an open look, puts it on the rim, and buries it. So that one right there, that's a big moment that stands out. We come back the following night, or the following day actually. We had a day game. We had a day game against a good Springfield team, and we had to go and we had to battle them for 4 quarters. And then Carter Johnson hits a big shot there at the top of the key to with a minute and a half left to put us up there. We talk about big moments. Hunter DeVanzo. Another one that just kind of jumps off there. He hustles, fourth quarter, dives on a loose ball, gets it at Valley, throws it up to Cooper, who's able to go and gets to the free throw line. So, there's big moments in every game. There's been big moments in every single game. And, we've had to battle every single game. So, those three kind of stand out in particular. But, I've had some other boys, Braden Clancy, he's brought big moment after big moment. The kid rebounds, defends, does well. Avery Young has come in, had some big moments as well, hit some big shots for us at the varsity level. So every possession, and these boys are fully understand that, starting to grasp that. Every single possession at the varsity level matters. It does. It really matters. It doesn't matter. You play 30 seconds, you play 30 minutes. Whatever you do in those moments help contribute to your team, and that's something the boys have grown of, and something we preach every day that they've really taken to.
The last 9 years have been a family affair in one capacity or another, but it's a little bit different nowadays. I mean, you mentioned the picture that you of Seth on shoulders, but there's a couple pictures of you, admiring those moments with your family, but also a little different whenever you got a Johnson on the team as well. Talk to me about what this has been like for you, being able to split those shifts and being dad and being coach at the same time.
That's been one of the, and I'm not going to lie, been a difficult part to do, right? You have to be dad, but you also have to be coach. So first and foremost, I've had a tremendous support, from my wife, for these past 9 years. She's been my biggest cheerleader, and also sometimes I get a press conference when I get home, as well, questioning some things. So she knows the game of basketball, and I love it. My son, Cohen, fourth grade, he's been at the games. He's been our ball boy. He's always been around the boys. Cora as well has been a junior cheerleader. She's always been there. She's the first one to come run up and hug me and everything like that. And then Carter, and then being able to coach him now, who's a sophomore. So it's been great. It's honestly, it's truly a blessing to be able to coach our kids and have our kids at the school I graduated from back in 2001 at Columbiana. So it's been truly a blessing to be able to coach at my alma mater and have my son coming through as well. And I've got to know when when to turn off coach and when to turn on dad, and vice versa. And sometimes those lines can get blurred a little bit, but I try my best to be both and wear both hats.
Coach, you talk about coaching at your alma mater, and we said in your intro, you're bleeding Columbiana through and through. You care about the Clippers more than probably a lot of people in that program. Talk about what it means to you to just keep representing the program that you graduated from, and the coach in the community that you graduated from, and what that really does mean to you. And now to see your own son be coming through that same program.
It's there's a lot of pride. There's a ton of pride in being a Clipper, and there's been such a great history of Columbiana basketball, going back to obviously the man on the wall, Richard Berryman, Coach Berryman, who's still in the stands, who still comes up and talks to me, and it's always been I have that pride, and I always want to convey to our boys, convey to our program that you play for the Clippers, you always play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. And I really do believe that we have a lot of boys that have come through our program, and especially in the last 9 years, that embody that Clipper spirit, that Clipper community. And it's like I said, it's been a blessing, and it's truly humbling that I get to coach at my alma mater, and that I get to have my son come through and play for us.
All right, last question from me. There's when people watch you on the sideline, there's an animation to it. There's an excitement to it. You never stop coaching. And I love that. How does it change now? You've got the regular season behind you. The awards are on their way, if not already delivered, with the EOAC championship. Now you've got to work about the postseason. This is what you play for. This is what you coach for. You want to take this team as far as you possibly can, make history with this team. How does your coaching style change? How does things change? Turn it up, turn it down, turn it sideways. How do things change for you?
Well, DJ, I don't know how to turn it down. I've never been one to just be able to turn it down. So we have a saying: the most important game is the next game. So our next game, most important game is Friday. We play Matthews, very good basketball team, and we got to go to them. And the way they pressure and the way they play at home is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough contest for us. So we're not looking towards postseason. We're not looking towards anything like that. We don't rest on our laurels of what we've done. We celebrate them, and we talked about it yesterday, and we're proud of that accomplishment. But we have a saying, after the game at 12:01, when it hits that next day, we got to move on to the next game, and we got to get ready and get prepared. So we were doing that yesterday at practice, and like I said, I don't know how to turn it down. So practices are always, intense. Always want to get up. Always want to have the boys as prepared as best as we can. And thanks for saying that. I coach the whole time, and I really try to, because even it doesn't matter on the score. There's always moments that you can take away from, you can learn from, and that you can maybe put into the next game, into the next practice, and continue to get better as we move forward. So we're excited as heck about the opportunity tomorrow night to go up to Matthews and play a great basketball team that'll hopefully get us tournament ready. And I know it will get us tournament ready. I shouldn't say hopefully.
Coach, my last question for you. We all know the brackets come out before the regular season is over, and you're always the guy that is next game. How hard is it to, try to focus on strategically trying to put yourself in a good bracket spot, but also trying to keep yourself in that next game mindset and focus on the next task at hand when the regular season is still to be wrapped up?
Well, the boys earned a 2 seed in the district this year, so it gave us an opportunity. There was one section for a bye. So last year, we had the opportunity to take a bye as well, and we chose not to. So in talking with the boys, and I had them in on our selection Sunday or whatever you want to call it, and I kind of talked to them as well because it's their team as well. So I wanted to get their buy-in and their take, and so we ended up. We were able to take the bye that the boys earned and had the right to do so. So as we were sitting there waiting, we had 2 quality teams go in front of us. So we have Campbell Memorial and we have Southern Local as well that are going to play. So we have the opportunity after Friday. We'll have 10 days, and it's a long layoff, but we'll have 10 days to get prepared and ready for either team that's going to advance and move forward. So like I said, we're excited about tomorrow night. We're excited about going to Matthews and playing that game against a very good basketball team. And then after that game, we'll catch our breath and, get ready and start working towards start of next week, getting ready for either Camel or Southern. And the opportunities and challenges they're going to bring. And, excited that our boys get another game at home as well. They get one more home game to play on their floor.
Love it. Coach, thank you so much for your time, for what you've done again for the game, to lift it up around here, and certainly you're getting those accolades, man. We're proud of you. And by the way, the #1 Atlanta Braves fan in the area.
Absolutely, go Braves!
Jeez Louise.
I'm a Braves fan through and through.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hero, Todd Johnson. Thanks, TJ. Appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
You got it. There he goes. I told you, stud, stallion, great coach, a guy that I would love to play for, or would have loved to play for back in the day. Man, he's just fun, right? And kids want to play for him because he coaches as hard as they play, and they give each other energy like that, which is it's fun to watch. If you've ever seen a Columbiana game on a Friday night or a Tuesday night or whatever night they end up playing on, you've got to watch the way he coaches, because I think the kids appreciate that more than anybody, and he appreciates what he gets out of the kids playing for him. And obviously the program means a hell of a lot to him there in Columbiana. So thanks to Todd Johnson for popping in today. Ant, what did you think?
I think that's why what you're saying, that he coaches with 100% effort. That's why he gets 100% effort on the other end. When he's talking about guys diving on the floor, guys giving up their body to try to get a loose ball, you don't get that as a coach unless they know that you're bought in too. Why is a player going to go 100% and put his body on the line for you if he doesn't believe that you're 100% in for him as well? And one of the ways you prove that, of course, is the animated way you coach. It doesn't have to be exact. Like, there's not a cookie cutter way to coach, but there have to be ways that you as a coach can prove to your team that you're there for them. If you're not as animated as Coach Todd Johnson, that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do that. But that's one of the ways that him personally can prove to his players that he's there for them, that he is 100% into this game just like they are.
Dude, he's lit. He is
There's a reason why we had him on that. There's a reason why we had him on that level up that we used to do. He was a fun mic up, wasn't he?
Yeah, if you ever want to check that out, that's a fun level up. I wish we could do that more. That was a really, really good one. I think it wasn't him. I had to bleep out some spots if I remember correctly. But no, there's something there in Columbiana, and he talked about the foundational side of it, building from 2nd grade to 6th grade, and getting kids into that program, 60 kids into that program. That's huge. That's huge because he knows what he's got coming down the pike. He knows what he has in the system. He knows if he's got to change things or if he can, they can, adjust to him. And that's the thing that people don't realize when you're talking about programs and coaches and players is there's a give and take to that, because you want a coach to be able to coach well. And sometimes he has to change the way he coaches or she coaches to the players that he or she has. in a program. So, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to a championship caliber team. And he said, one of the coolest quotes I'm going to take from that is, to win a varsity game is a challenge.
Yeah, on the road especially.
But to win 19 of them this year, looking for 20, which is an accolade all to itself, right? You know, if you go in before and say, hey, you're going to win 20 games this season, that's a really successful season, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, I know they have one more road test ahead of them with Matthews on Friday, but so far undefeated on the road too, and that's got to be something that he's so proud of, that they're able to go on these road tests and continue to show up on the road, because it's a lot harder than showing up at your home, where you have probably more fans, you're more comfortable, you're in your own locker room, you know the gym, you know the diameters. Some gyms are different, some gyms are smaller than yours, some gyms are bigger than yours. So to go on the road and get all the wins on the season, that's pretty impressive.